Frisco set to tee it up, and the kickoff, cable one kickoff. It's going to be a squibber down the middle of the field. Going to be picked up on the far side. That's going to be one of the Jacksons. I believe it's Robert. Shakes and bakes a little bit, gets up to the 39. So Denison starts in pretty good field position. They'll start 1st and 10 from about, well, he's going to mark it down. Yeah, right at the 39, right at the 40, as a matter of fact.
Looks like the Frisco Racoons have been watching a little bit of film, keeping away from the deep kick where the Jackets have had a relative amount of success. The ball placed at the 34-yard line as the Jackets come out to take over on their first offensive drive.
Anthony Hines will start out at tailback. A lot of questioning on whether he would be back there, whether Pritchard will be back there. Looks like they're not going to run the one-man set as both backs are in. It's kind of an offset eye, a double wing set, and Anthony Hines gets the pitch, cuts it up. He's at the 30, breaks a tackle, gets to the 50, all the way down to the 35, down to the 30, finally knocked out of bounds and tackled at the 26-yard line. So Anthony Hines on the play picks up good yardage all the way down to Frisco Coon territory before Blake King finally drags him out of bounds.
You know, Monte, it looks good to finally see the Jackets in a position to where they are really exploding out on the run. Hines finally hitting the hole a little bit quicker, and as he has a little bit of success, that will even encourage that boy.
What we're talking about, you probably heard on the Bob Brown show, is they've been coaching him to stand over a little bit and not stand so straight up. Here's a handoff up the middle of Brian Pritchard. He breaks 2 tackles. He's going down the 10-5. Touchdown Jackets, 2 plays, and they go all the way from 71 yards on 2 plays, and the Jackets have struck first blood with 11:29 left to go in the first quarter.
Bam Bam Pritchard taking that quick handoff, quick hit, the quick hitter pattern as he goes inside, bounced off one man, and he was gone the rest of the way.
So far, 2 plays and a lot of yards. Looks like the offense have got things on track. Now they set up over in this swinging gate for the PAT, and now the lineman will shift back over towards the middle. And it's Rusty Schmitz is the kicker, and he's a barefoot kicker, if you'll remember. And the snap is back. The kick is on the tee. The kick is up, and the kick is good. 11:29 left in the first. Denison on top. 7-0. You're listening to Katy Country 93.1. Welcome back to Munson Stadium. Monte Walker along with Jason Smith, Kevin Farr. Jason, let's go over that American Bank scoring drive.
Real quick, and it's the fun ones you like to do. Brought to you by the American Bank. It took 2 plays, 66 yards, 31 seconds, and the scoring play, 26-yard touchdown run by Brian Pritchard. 7-0 Jackets.
Jamie Butler kicks the cable one kickoff back deep. It's going to go out of bounds, so that's going to set up pretty good field position for the Frisco Coons. And with 11:25 left to go in the first, we'll see if Denison's defense can kind of put on a show as what the offense did. Let's check down on the sidelines with our Grayson County area-wide directory sideline reporter Julie Garza. Julie, tell us a little bit about the sideline. Were they pretty pumped over there?
Oh, the energy's unbelievable down here, Monte. Just before the game, the energy was wonderful, and then now everyone's just going nuts, and after the first touchdown, everybody's going crazy. It's great.
Pandemonium on the sidelines as the Jackets got to be really happy with that. Coach Bob Brown has got to be just ecstatic with what his offense has been able to do so far.
Yeah, guys, I wanted to mention the great blocking. Two big running plays, and the Jackets, some huge holes on both those. The first one, it was a great kick-out block from Vincent Rhodes that sprung Anthony Hines for that 40-yard run. And then the second one, the Pritchard run, he broke 1 tackle, got a great block from Johnny Hoover on the inside and kicked it out and went 26 yards the rest of the way untouched.
Yeah, they're going to make them re-kick. So.
Interesting call. Interesting call as they make the Jackets re-kick.
Well, I think they have to because it was offsetting penalties. They called a holding penalty on Frisco as well.
Folks, if you're listening back home and you're wondering where Lynn Burkhead, he's got the night off, and would have loved to said stick it in the end zone, put it on the scoreboard when they scored down there. But Lynn, I'm not going to do that. That's your call, buddy. And it's going to be cable one kickoff again, taken by Frisco up to about the 30-yard line, down about the 29. And I believe it was Jay Stafford who took that kick and ran it back up. Pretty good blocking by Frisco. And they're going to start out pretty good field position themselves right at the 30.
They really are. You know, there was a couple of missed tackles early, and it was the Ortega kid, number 33, carrying the ball from 1 yard deep, and really showing some pretty quick speed.
Yeah, Ortega, he's a senior, and we don't have any weights on him, but he's a pretty big guy. And Hale is the quarterback, and he likes to run. He's in shotgun formation with 3 receivers to the left. Wants to throw out in the flat. That's Ortega, and he shakes one man before he finally is taken down by Casey Braxton and Robert Jackson and a host. Actually, that's Will Crawley and David McAdams. So a lot of guys getting over there really quickly. The linebacker scraping really nicely, and they gain about 4 yards.
Second down 6 for the Cougars.
Brings up about a second down and 6. We'll call it. 10:49 left to go the first quarter. Just started at Munson Stadium. Beautiful night. Couldn't get any better for football. There's going to be a one-back set with 2 receivers to the left, 1 in motion to the left, hand off up the middle, and he's going to drive for about 3 yards. That was Aaron Anzuna on the carry. And Anzuna so far this year has 94 carries for 346 yards. That's a 3.7 average per carry. He scored a couple of touchdowns so far this year too.
Right there, Anzuna really showing his strength. He met Raymond Smith head up and drove Smith back about 3 yards. Not many people have been able to do that this year.
Anzuna lines up in the backfield. Normally you see the back line up about 7 yards deep when he's the lone back, but he lines up right behind the quarterback when they're in that situation. This is going to be a handoff up the middle, and he's going to gain about 2 or 3 yards, and he's going to get the first down on third down. So on third and short, they pick up the first down. Go up to about the 42-yard line with 9:57 left to go here in the first quarter.
David McAdams in on that stop as he fought off his blocker and hauled Anzuna in.
Will Crawley, one of those guys on defense. You know, he's only a sophomore, but he's one of those guys that'll really pop you, and he looks like to be the leader out there. First and 10, Frisco from the 42 on their own 42. Now they'll drop back in shotgun formation. Hale with the handoff to Anzuna. He's going nowhere. David McAdams stops him with Shelly Pitts right up the middle. And those two guys, what a 1-2 punch from the linebacker and the nose guard.
They really are. You know, we've got an outstanding core of linebackers. May not be the biggest in the district, but you know you played them because they will hit you hard.
And that's going to be a drop of a yard, so that'll bring up second down and 11 rather, with 9:10 left to go. Hale this time will go under center with Anzuna in the backfield, double receivers each side. And he gets the pitch. He's going to pitch out to Anzuna, who breaks one tackle, finally dragged down after picking up about 6 yards by big Johnny Hoover. And Johnny Hoover is quite a load out there himself. He's about 6'4", probably 240.
Well, Hoover was out there really showing his speed as he disengaged from his block and tracked down Anzuna out in the flats.
Here's kind of a big play early for Denison's defense to see if they can stop them on 3rd and 4. They're 2 yards shy of midfield as Frisco will set up in the shotgun formation. And Hale wants to signal, wants to call, throws it out in the flats. He breaks one tackle, and he gets the first down, and he gets down to about the 38-yard line. So Denison so far have not broken, but they're bending a little bit and giving up 2 first downs here early.
Bending quite a bit, much to Coach Brown's dismay. Brian Heller, the wideout with that reception, broke 2 tackles before finally being brought down.
Howard Jackson checks into the ball game. Will Crawley will check out. Hoover at one end, Anthony Washington on the other. Shelly Pitts up the middle. And Hale, the quarterback, under center. Somebody moved up front, but they run the little trap up the middle with Anzuna, and he gains about 3 yards. I never saw a flag, but somebody was flinching a little bit on the offensive line.
Number 35, Howard Jackson.
And that's going to be a gain that takes the ball down to the 34. So 2nd down and 5. They're already bending a little bit here on first down. The key to stopping any offense is to get a good first down. If you can stop them and hold them to 2nd and long, 3rd and long, it's a great situation. Shotgun formation, 3 receivers to the near side. He will pitch it out to Anzuna, who gets right up to the line of scrimmage and then is gang tackled by a host of Yellow Jackets. Howard Jackson in there, Johnny Hoover getting off the pile. Robert Jackson, a lot of those Yellow Jackets around the football.
That play was set up by Anthony Washington, came untouched and almost took out the quarterback, disrupted that pitch a little bit, and made number 3 have to go a little wide to haul the pitch in, setting up that stop by the Jackets.
Now another 3rd down situation, 3rd and 3, 7:08 left to go in the first quarter, 2 receivers each side. Hale, the quarterback, under center, man in motion, hands off up the middle. Johnny Hoover stops him up. He kept the ball. I thought he had it up the middle. So did the Yellow Jackets as he scampers around the near side. That was a great fake to the fullback up the middle because he had all of us faked out up here in the booth as well. He picks up another first down.
I thought Johnny Hoover had made an exceptional stop, and I'm sure that fullback will agree with us as he took quite a pop from Johnny, but quarterback did a great job hiding that ball.
That was an amazing job of faking to the fullback, keeping it around the near side. Here's another shotgun up, and now he's going to go under center. 2 receivers on each side, 1 back. He's going to pitch it to him. Nope, he's going to hold it, and he's hit initially by Shelly Pitts, who finally brings him down. I wasn't for sure whether Shelly Pitts was going to be able to finally take him down. He took one off, as I'm told now. That's Anthony Washington. He was hit up the middle initially, and if it was Washington, in fact, hit him and didn't wrap up. But then the quarterback turned back around and ran right into him. So Hale takes another loss, and here's what we were talking about. Now sets up 2nd and 13. It's a lot more like it.
You know, when you look at the Jackets, they'll bend and bend and bend and then stiffen as they get inside the red zone.
Shotgun formation. Hale the quarterback. 2 receivers each side. 1 back. That's Anzuna. Wants to snap. Now he pitches it out to Anzuna to the right side. He breaks 2 tackles and finally is brought down after a pretty good gain. He gains about 6 or 7 yards. That's still going to be quite a bit short of the first down marker, as it's going to be 3rd and 5 with the clock rolling at 5:44.
Man off that tackle, Mr. Johnny Hoover.
Johnny Hoover has played a great game so far. You know, he did his job on that earlier fake. You know, he took the pitch man, took the fullback. That's what you have to do, and you got to let your teammates take the other. Here's 2 receivers each side. And shotgun formation, hands it off to Anzuna. Nothing doing, stopped at the line of scrimmage. That's that big offense. Defensive line, actually he kept it. Now he was taking, I tell you, they do a great job of faking. I wasn't able to pick that one up.
He has the best faking action I have ever seen in my life.
He faked it up the middle to the fullback, and apparently kept the ball and was tackled in the backfield. I was looking at the fullback.
But you know the big thing about it, the Jackets are taking the pitch man and him both times. Both men are going down.
Number 22,
it's like a field goal here that's going to be 37 yards, and it's Buwala, and the kick is long enough, and it is good, they say. 4:42 left, so Frisco gets on the board. We're listening to Denison Yellow Jacket football. We'll be back in a moment.
Much time. Welcome back to Monte Stadium.
Number 35, Howard Jackson.
4:42 left to go in the first quarter. Denison on top 7-3. The Cable One kickoff is on the way. It's another sliver by Frisco. Going to be taken up by Robert Jackson, who's going to take it and finally be wrestled down about midfield. Well, he's going to come up short at the 35-yard line, but he's wrestled at the middle of the field. Now there's a flag. I don't know if there's some extracurricular activity going on.
Yep.
But let's get to that drive recap.
Drive recap brought to you by American Bank. The Frisco Coons, 13 plays to cover 50 yards, and they eventually scored on a 37-yard field goal, bringing the score 7-3 Denison.
So no shutout tonight. That is going to be 39 consecutive games, and is still the longest in school history. So Frisco gets on the board, 4:34 left to go in the first quarter. Denison on top 7-3. And are we going to...
I think it's going to be a personal foul against Frisco here. And one more thing, guys, down at Bearcat Stadium, Sherman leads Denton Ryan 7-6 in the first quarter, the second-ranked Ryan Raiders.
Still early down there in Bearcat Stadium. Denton Ryan, obviously the favorite to win the district and to beat Sherman tonight. 2 plays that they've run to score. Have 2 receivers to the near side. Now Christian Brown in motion. They want to hand off to Anthony Hines, who runs to the near side and is finally tackled about 2 yards after the gain. And brought down by Derek Hale, looks like, and also a couple of other guys in there. Alex Schultz is one of the guys.
You know, Coach Brown was talking about number 49, Anthony Hines, having a tough time bending over and running behind his pads. We'll tell you why in a minute.
2nd down and 6, 4:17 left to go in the first quarter. This is 3 receivers to the far side. Denison moving left to right on the radio dial. And Crawley back to pass in shotgun formation. Overthrows Nesbitt just a little bit over his head. And it was Colby Ivy, cornerback out there on the coverage.
One of those short, flat routes the Yellow Jackets run right there. Talking about Hines getting behind his pads, Coach Brown was talking about how Hines likes to be a straight up and down runner. But you tend to take a lot more damaging shots when you don't run behind your pads. And on that last run, Hines really got popped a couple of times because he is failing to get down and run behind his pads.
It seems like ever so often we'll see him finally, you know, run with authority, but sometimes he doesn't. We'll just see which Anthony Hines shows up here. 2 receivers each side. Crawley under center, looks back, wants to pass out in the flats. Got Howard Jackson, and Howard shakes and bakes for a little bit and gains what might be a first down as he gets very close to the marker. But it depends on where it's going to be spotted. We'll check down with our Grayson County area-wide directory. Sideline reporter Julie Garza, did you get a good look at that one?
Oh yeah, Monte. That was right on the 30.
Looks like they're going to be a little bit short. Oh, they're going to bring the chains out, I believe.
You know, it's crazy. The referee, Steve Finnegan, initially signaled first down, and now it looks like they may be bringing the chains in.
I think it may be. The way they marked the ball, it was on the left side of the 40, on the north side of the 40, and they had to get across the 40 to get the first down, but the referee, he didn't even waste any time making the signal, and I guess the Frisco coaches kind of said something about that.
We want to take a second look at that as they bring the chains out now, and they stretch them out, and he finally pulls that last notch in the chain, and it's going to be about 1.5 feet short.
Do some! But 18 inches short.
Good news is it's third down. So Denison will take another crack at it to see if they can get across and gain 1.5 yards to pick up the first down.
What do you think? Delayed draw to Pritchard on this down?
I think it should be fourth down. It'll be fourth down. That was the third down play right there that came up a little short.
You are right. It is a fourth and a short one.
Be interesting to see what they do here. This also could be a very big play early on in the ball game, as now they finally flip the chart over to fourth down. And a lot of the guys, let's see, David McAdams in there. It looks like they may be trying to run this quarterback sneak with a power I formation. Crawley under center. Barks trying to draw Frisco off sides a little bit. Still barking. Finally, he's going to toss it to Anthony Hines, who runs hard up the middle, gains about 5 yards, picks up the first down. That's the Anthony Hines that we've been waiting to see, and sometimes we see that Anthony Hines that runs hard up the middle, and that time he did.
He really exploded to that hole, and Hines, he's a dangerous runner when he gets down and when he attacks the field of play. That time he really did. He's a young player and still growing up in front of our eyes.
Yeah, he is. And he's, let's not forget, he is a sophomore, and Coach Brown saying if he wants to be a varsity running back, he's going to have to listen to what we say and lower his shoulders a little bit and run with authority. He did on that play. Crawley back in shotgun formation. 2 receivers to the far side, one on the left is Ronnie Powell. And he'll hand off up the middle. That's Anthony Hines again. Shakes the tackler, and he almost busted it loose for the end zone as he's tackled at the 25-yard line. That's going to be Damian Campbell finally bringing him down. If it weren't for Mr. Campbell, Hines would have gone the distance.
Hines once again getting behind his pads. He didn't explode through the hole, but sometimes it is, or most of the times, it's always more important to wait and let your blocks develop. He showed a higher sense of maturity right there as he did wait for his blocks to develop.
That's going to pick up the first down with 2:46 left to go in the first quarter. Denison now running some sort of a no-huddle offense as Crawley barks the signals out at his offensive lineman, and everybody kind of gathers around him, but they don't actually get in a huddle. Guys in shotgun formation with 2 receivers to the far side, Casey Braxton to the near side. Anthony Hines will shift over to the right side of the line. Now Crawley barks, wants to snap, has it. It's a draw up the middle. He breaks 2 tackles. Now he's running, bumbling, stumbling down to about the 9-yard line. Almost, if he could have kept his feet, would have been in the end zone.
Well, he had nobody in front of him. He just got tripped up from one man that was behind him. But did you see the outstanding block that Anthony Hines threw out there in front of Crawley?
Not only can the sophomore run a little bit, he can block a little bit. It looks like they're going to call timeout. We'll take one also. You're listening to Denison Yellow Jacket Football on Katy Country. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Munson Stadium. Yellow Jackets on the line in a 2-receiver set. And Crawley back. He wants to run that draw again up the middle. He finally does, and somebody busted him right through the middle. Looks like the linebacker. And that's Robert Romero. He is a linebacker. He is a senior. He looks pretty big and tough, and he just took care of Crawley.
That's something we failed to mention in the pregame is the size of Frisco. The only team we're going to see at all this year that's bigger than them will be Sherman in Week 10. Bring a lot of kids in with a lot of size. 2nd down and 6. Brian Pritchard checks into the ball game. Casey Braxton also in the ball game. He's going to run the near receiver. And it's a double tight set. Power I formation. Anthony Hines in the backfield gets the toss, running right on the sweep. He's down to the 5, trying to get in, steps out of bounds at the 1.
Yeah, they'll call it about to 2.5. So just very close of the marker with 1:42 left to go in the first quarter. Denison already on top 7-3 and pushing for more.
This is a great game for the Yellow Jackets to really step up, start to grow, and experiment a little bit before they take on Ryan next week.
Here's the situation. You've got 3rd and 1. You have to get the first down. You can actually get a first down before you get the touchdown. So Denison in good shape here. Crawley wants to pitch out to Hines. Does. Up the middle. Hit about the goal line. And falls over for the touchdown. Anthony Hines, with 1:38 left in the first quarter, takes it over from the 2. And Denison now on top 13-3, awaiting the PAT. Was waiting there for a moment to see if Hines was actually going to get across, and the officials finally raised their hands and said that he did, and now the swinging gate action on the PAT will move over to the middle of the field, and Schmitz will go ahead and try to kick it as Denison leads once again 13-3, and the kick is back, and the kick is on the tee. It is up, and it is good. 14-3, Denison on top and all over the Frisco Coons. 1:38 left in the first quarter. You're listening to Denison Yellow Jacket football. We'll be back in a moment.
You're going to fake it?
Go.
Welcome back to Munson Stadium. The Cable One kickoff in the air and taken finally.
Number 4.
He takes it up to the 26-yard line before finally being brought down. They're going to mark it at the 27. And Will Crawley, the man there who makes the stop. American make scoring drive, Jason.
Yes, Monte. 49 yards on 9 plays, 3 minutes and 4 seconds. The Yellow Jackets punch it in from 2 yards out. Anthony Hines with the score. Rusty Schmitz with the PAT. Score goes to 14-3. Denison Yellow Jackets.
So far, Denison's offense really looking tough, spreading the ball out a little bit, and then plus running a little power eye, really doing the job. Let's see if their defense can do the same thing. 3 receivers to the near side for Frisco. He wants to throw and throws it out in the flats and finally is taken down there by Robert Jackson, but he broke about 3 tackles. And when I say he, I mean Colby Ivy. That's the man who made the catch. And, of course, Derek Hale, the quarterback, who is all Frisco Coons offense. He rushes and passes and does everything.
That's going to be something that shows up in the films tomorrow and Monday is the amount of missed tackles the Jackets are already letting go.
Same formation here. 3 receivers to the near side, 1 to the right, 1 back set, and the shotgun formation. Hale runs the draw kind of like Crawley does, but this time he's taken down in the backfield by Raymond Smith, the linebacker. Raymond does a good job of coming up through the line and takes him down, and that's going to bring up another 2nd and long. Third and long, actually.
Raymond Smith built a lot like a junior Brian Pritchard, the way he sits to the ground, a heavily muscled kid, especially in the upper body. And I was talking to Julie, our sideline reporter, about him a little bit earlier and saying that he may not be the biggest kid, but he's lightning quick and he will hit you.
Checking into the ball game is sophomore Anthony Hines, so not only on offense, he also plays a little defense, checks in at the safety spot. Hale, the quarterback, wants to throw to the right. Oh, it could have been picked off. Ronnie Powell, no, it's Casey Braxton over there, made a mammoth hit on the Frisco Coons receiver, and I believe that was Steven Cisneros. And I'm telling you, if Braxton would have been looking for the ball, he could have picked it off and went the distance. He was looking at the receiver, however, and was worried. His only concern was taking out the receiver, and the ball was thrown that way, and he lit him up.
He really did. Casey Braxton, of course, Denison Post Player of the Week 2 weeks ago, and showing you exactly why right there.
He likes to hit, and they're going to drop. Frisco's going to drop back in punting formation. And Mr. Hale also does the punting for him, and Robert Jackson takes it with a fair catch at the 43-yard line of Denison. So now we'll see that Jackets offense again and see what they can do. They've already scored 2 touchdowns, and the first drive only took them 2 plays to do it as they rumbled all the way down there on 66 yards after some nice runs by Anthony Hines.
9 seconds left in the first quarter, and Jackets up 14-3, and man, it feels good to say that.
Nice to have that lead. Of course, Denison rolling in the district 2-0 so far, looking to go 3-0, and if they win tonight, they can just about clinch a playoff spot, not mathematically, but just, technically clinch this playoff spot. As Crawley's in shotgun formation, drops back, wants to throw out in the flats to Anthony Hines, who shakes and bakes a little bit, finally breaks a tackle, and is going to only gain about 3 yards. Looked like it could have been a big gainer as he made 2 guys miss him. but he was finally brought down by Eric Vanderpool.
Coons did a good job of pursuing that play, did not over-pursue, and waited for him, waited for Hines to come to them and then tackled him.
That's the end of the first quarter. Denison on top, 14-3. We'll be back in a moment. You're listening to Denison Yellow Jacket football on KMKT. Welcome back to Munson Stadium. We're at the start of the second quarter. Denison on top, 14-3, and looking really good on offense so far. So far on defense, they've only had one drive, and Frisco was able to get a 37-yard field goal out of it. But Denison pretty much has played a great ball game so far, Jason.
They really have, especially on the offensive side. They had that one big defensive stop just a moment ago, and now their third offensive position.
They're in the offensive position right now, and Mr. Crawley, the quarterback, wants to run that draw again from shotgun formation. Eludes a tackler at the line of scrimmage, but is only able to gain another yard after that, as he is taken down by Russell Jones and Alex Schultz.
You know, if I didn't know better, I would think Crawley likes to run and likes to get hit, unlike a lot of high school quarterbacks.
He does. You know, when Crawley first came up back in '99, he came up as that outside linebacker. They call him a safety, but for all intents and purposes, he was a linebacker, so the kid likes to hit. He's in shotgun formation again, three receivers to the far side, one over here to the left. He throws to that right side, and he's got his little brother, Will Crawley, who puts the ball on the turf. I think he was stripped of the football. He was right at the first down marker, and looks like he was able to get back on top of the football, but that was a scary moment.
Hey, guys, we want to give our State Farm, Jim McClure State Farm trivia question right now, as the winner gets a dinner for two to the Cotton Patch. And the trivia question for this week: what Denison player holds the school record, the Denison school record for most touchdowns in a single game by a single player? That trivia question, call 465-6200. The first one to call gets the dinner for two to the Cotton Patch.
And Anthony Hines, while we were talking about that, gains 8 yards, picks up the first down. They'll move the chains. 10:45 left to go in the second quarter. Anthony Hines running like a madman.
He really is. He came out of the box that time with a full head of steam, and as Lynn likes to say, you know, that one man to beat right there.
You know, another thing he'd like to say right now is stick it in the end zone and put it on the scoreboard.
Have you noticed how we win when you and I are here?
That's true. Maybe there's something to that. There's a stoppage of play for a moment, and they're going to take a timeout. We'll take one as well. You're listening to Denison Yellow Jacket football. Denison on top, 14-3, 10:35 left to go in the second quarter. We'll be back in a moment.
Well, they're not taking 60 seconds, so sorry.
43, Brian Fritz out the carry, brought down by number 8, Colby Ivy. Off on the stop, number 12, Brian Heller.
Ryan Pritchard on first down carries the ball for 7 yards and sets up nice running room and a nice situation for Denison with 2nd and 3 at Frisco's 34. 10 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Crawley in shotgun formation, 3 receivers to the far side. Throws over here to the near side. Jerry Jones, the speedster at the 5. Touchdown Denison! Jerry Jones just outran the quarterback. Was in the end zone before anybody knew it.
It really was. It was a streak pattern by Jones, and we've all year have been talking about how quick Jones is showing that speed right there, and Crawley one more pass closer to that record.
I tell you, Jones has all the speed in the world. Crawley just simply lofted the ball up in the air. Jones ran underneath it, ran past the cornerback, said, I'm taking it all the way, and he did. That was a very nice throw and catch from the Crawley to Jones, and now Schmitz has the ball on the tee. The kick is up on the way, and it is good. Denison leads 21-3 now with 9:57 left to go in the first half. You're listening to Denison Yellow Jacket football. We'll be back in a moment.
Oh, there we go.
Number 4, Adrian Cutter, brought down by number 43, Brian Fritz.
Come on.
Welcome back to Mudson Stadium. B.T. Johnson takes the Cable One kickoff and rolls up to the 25-yard line of Frisco. And now Frisco's an offensive set, and they've got two receivers to each side. And that's Anzuna in the backfield. He'll back up a little bit. And the quarterback is Derek Hale. He wants to pitch to the outside to Anzuna, who takes it to the 30, across the 40, breaks a tackle. He's up to midfield and finally ridden out of bounds by Raymond Smith at the Denison 40-yard line. So that's a big gainer for Frisco.
A big miscue on the Jackets right there. Shelly Pitts just got nailed by one of his own men. Scoring drive from American Bank took the Jackets 57 yards on 6 plays, 3 minutes 41 seconds. Scoring play was Crawley to Jones connection, 34-yard pass. Rusty Smits with the field goal attempt is good. 21-3, Yellow Jackets on top.
Frisco has the ball 1st and 10 at the Denison 41 with 9:38 left to go in the second quarter. Hale, the quarterback, with two receivers to the each side, hands off up the middle, and he actually does hand off this time, and it's going to be a gain of about 1 or 2 as he crosses the 40-yard line down to about the 39. So it brings up a 2nd and 8 at the 39.
2nd down 8 for the Yellow Jackets.
Frisco so far running that option, and you know they've been one of those teams who has run the option pretty well over the past several years.
They have. Well, last year we've seen it quite a bit, and even the years before in their smaller classifications, they like to play with the option.
You know, when you got a quarterback who can sneak around with the ball as good as Hale does, you know, you can get some things done on offense. This time he wants to throw. Drop back, airs it out a little bit. He's got a man downfield. Howard Jackson, though, says, I don't think so, and swats the ball away at the 10-yard line. So a great play by the safety, Howard Jackson, who makes the play and saves a big gainer, as now that brings up 3rd and long with 8 yards to go to pick up the first with 8:56 left to go in the second quarter.
Jacket defense unflinching right there. Lots of times in the past when teams would go back to pass, Jackets would showcase their weaknesses in the defensive pass formations, but really playing good ball right there.
I noticed some of the guys on defense are wearing long towels. I don't know what that's about, what that symbolizes. We might get Julie Garza down there to ask some of the teammates what that means. Hale, the quarterback, under center, has two receivers to each side, barking the signal, out runs the option, tucks it up, and gets across to the 36-yard line before being taken down by Robert Jackson and Howard Jackson. Some of those guys back there have done the job defensively all year long. Robert Jackson, who has a total of 72 tackles, leads the football team, along with David McAdams, who has 71. Some of those guys back there like to make a lot of tackles.
They really do. Frisco quarterback becoming a Jackson sandwich on that play as he was leveled.
Robert and Howard Jackson, you mean? Both of those guys playing a pretty good safety position, and of course with that two receiver spot on each side, they have to have some guys covering, and Howard Jackson is one of those. And Hale this time wants to run. He goes up to the left side, to the far side, wants to throw, almost crossed the line of scrimmage, but he throws it in between two Jacket defenders, and it skips across the ground, and that'll be no gain, and that'll bring over, that was 4th down, so the Jackets will take over. And I'm not sure why they were going for it in that situation on 4th down, and they were at their own 37-yard line. Why in the world would they take a risk like that?
Well, Frisco, I guess early in the game, not too much faith in their place kicking game. I was watching them warm up, and not really strong in that department, and I guess a little bit shy on the pooch kick capabilities as well.
That would be a rather long field goal if they wanted to try that. Would have been somewhere around a 55-yarder. So I doubt they have anybody that can kick that, but you know, you wonder why they would do that and not punt and try to trap the Jackets back in their own part of the territory. But anyway, Jackets have the ball. They take over at their own 37. And Crawley has three receivers to the right side, wants to throw over there. Has a man down the middle, Will Crawley, but it's picked off by Frisco, and that's going to be Brandon Rhodes, and he rolls all the way down to about the 40-yard line. And Rhodes makes a big play for Frisco, so maybe that's what they wanted to do. They knew they were going to get the interception from Crawley. We don't see that a lot from Crawley.
No, you really don't. Crawley with a pick in the, I believe, last week's game, and you know, has been pretty well unblemished all season. The safety just camping down, and I don't think Crawley's seen him at all on that play.
Yeah, Crawley so far this year, 60 attempts coming into the game, 60 completions out of 107 attempts, and only 2 interceptions. And make it 3 now as Frisco takes over at the 41-yard line. Denison's into the field, and he wants to hand off, and this time he keeps it. Johnny Hoover's going to wrestle him down and run him down from behind, tackles him right at the line of scrimmage, so that'll be no gain. Denison on top, 21-3, 7:48 left to go, second quarter, and looking pretty good other than that interception from Rob Crawley.
It has been something injury I'm seeing on the sidelines. Rusty Smits with something it looks like to be his ear. And we'll get our sideline reporter Julie Garza over there to check on number 17.
2 receivers to each side. Derek Hale, the quarterback, in shotgun formation. We see this a lot from both schools here tonight. The shotgun, I mean, and he's going to hand it off this time to Anzuna up the middle, and Johnny Hoover is right there. Johnny Hoover takes him out at the 39-yard line, and he doesn't get very far when that big guy jumps on you.
I think Johnny Hoover's got eyes in the back of his head. He was turned around due to the end blocking him, and released his block, spun, and just nailed the running guy.
Let's go down to our Grayson County area-wide directory sideline reporter Julie Garza. Julie, did you find out anything about those towels that some of the guys are wearing?
Yeah, Monty. According to some of the players, the towels are simply just for wiping their hands off their face, so they have a good grip on the ball when they hit.
I think they're kind of a show type of thing because it's not a muddy night or anything like that. But I tell you what, it looks good.
It does look good, Monty.
Shotgun formation, 2 receivers each side, handoff up the middle, Anzuna, and he's going to go nowhere as David McAdam pounds him from the front side, and it's back there to Anthony Hines. Nails him over there and comes up from his safety spot and pops him. So here's 4th down again, and we'll see what Coach Mullins wants to do with Frisco, what they want to do as far as, they were in the exact same spot a moment ago, maybe 4 yards deeper. But it's 4th and 5, and are they going to elect to try to go for it again? And looks like they will. Derek Hale, the quarterback. This is that 2 receiver to each side formation again, and kind of a running shoot type offense. And he rolls out to the left side, to the far side. Hoover chasing, and he's not going to be able to get him, but he is taken out of bounds by one of the Yellow Jacket players over there. I'm not sure who that was. I can't see over there. And one of the guys tells me Robert Jackson, and who else, because he is the tackle leader. He might as well be over there. So Jackson makes the play, and Denison takes over again. So why don't you punt that football, Jason?
Yeah, I would think that you would, and I don't know. I'm completely baffled. I guess Frisco are trying to do whatever they can that is slightly unconventional to catch the defense off guard, catch the Jackets off guard, and I guess that they think going for it on 4th down with plays like that, the play selection has been a little questionable too.
Well, I certainly don't want to critique Coach Mullins over there in Frisco and tell him that he's doing wrong, but it's unconventional, and I think you had the right words for it. 2 receivers each side, handoff up the middle to Pritchard, not much doing there, as it's going to be Alex Schultz who finally wrestles him down right at the line of scrimmage, and a host of Coons, and Pritchard has had a pretty good game. He had one good game tonight, but went nowhere on that one.
That's right. The Coons really swarming into the ball all night and showing it right there. Raymond Smith looks to have a little problem with his elbow. Some ice packs applying to his elbow right now.
Gabe Carter and Will Crawley split out to the near side. Casey Braxton to the far side. Rob Crawley, the quarterback, under center. Fakes the handoff to Pritchard, rolling to the right, wants to throw downfield, has a man. That's going to be Nesbitt. Nesbitt's tackled about the 45-yard line into Frisco territory, so that's a gain of about 25 or 22 yards or so. So a nice catch and run by Crawley to Nesbitt.
And right there, Monte, Coach Brown showing his confidence in the passing game, which really sounds weird this season. Well, not this season, but in seasons past, as he goes right back to the pass 2 plays after the interception.
And Nesbitt had a wide open lane, was all by himself, and Crawley put it right on the money. Now 2 receivers to each side. Howard Jackson split out with Gabe Carter to the near side, and it's going to be a pitch over to Pritchard, who looks like he initially ran the wrong way. Is going to be run out of bounds for a significant loss of about 3 or 4, and that just looked like a busted play. It looks like Pritchard went the wrong way when he was supposed to go the other.
It was either a wrong play or the pitch came out a little behind him, and he was able to track it down, and then I don't know, it was a tough, awkward-looking play.
When I initially saw it, I thought that he had pitched it to him and he was going to throw it. I thought Pritchard was going to throw, but it looked like he just initially ran the wrong way, and it was a busted play. Brings up 2nd and 13 with 4:24 and rolling to go in the second quarter. Denison on top 21-3. Will Crawley in motion coming from the far side to the near side. Here's a pitch to Pritchard. It's over his head, and he finally gets back on the ball, but that's going to be a huge loss all the way back to the Denison 40. We're going to mark it at the 41 now, so 4 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Denison has gone backwards the past 2 plays.
Turnover bug is trying to bite Denison. That right there, the second time they put the ball on the grass, and then, of course, the interception. So turnover bug trying to camp out on the sidelines, and let's hope that that does not become a priority.
That one looked like a pretty good pitch, too. I think Pritchard might have just took his eyes off it just a second. That's all it took.
Well, Pritchard, maybe he needs to get one of those towels. 2 receivers to each side. Anthony Hines in the backfield this time. There's a handoff up the middle. It's the draw, and we see that a lot on 3rd down. Anthony Hines going nowhere, taken down right at the line of scrimmage. Going to bring up 4th and 24, so I don't think you'll see Bob Brown going for it on 4th and 24.
Not pretty sure.
He'll punt the ball away with Jamie Butler, and Jamie Butler comes out having an outstanding year in the punting department, and his numbers are 30 punts for a lot of yards. Yeah, he's averaging 35.4, and at the high school level, that's pretty good.
That's really good, enough to probably start garnering some looks for some schools.
He's going to stand at about the 29-yard line, his own 29. And the snap is back a little low, but he picks it off the turf, gets it up, and it's an end-over-end punt. It was going to be taken at the 25, and he's running backwards, but he's got some pretty good room. Comes to the near side, breaks a tackle, gets around the end, and Casey Braxton and Will Crawley finally take him out, but it was Colby Ivy on the carry, and he really showed some great speed.
And there is a flag on the end of that play. Looks like it may be a late hit on the Jackets.
Flag on the field.
2:42 left to go in the second quarter. Denison on top, 21-3, and it's going to be holding against Frisco. So we'll see what that does and negates that run, if they're going to call it from the spot of the foul, or are they going to push him back further. As the referees are marking off the spot, trying to figure out where they want the ball to go from. They're starting out at the 45 and marking off not 5 yards, but 10 yards. So the ball will be placed right off of the stripe on the 34-yard line, in between the 34 and the 35. Again, 2:42 left to go until halftime. 21-3, Denison on top, pretty much manhandling Frisco, making them go try to convert on 4th and 5 and 4th and 6. They've tried that twice already and have been unsuccessful, and Denison has taken over. But now Frisco has the ball after a Denison punt, and 2 receivers to each side. He wants to run the option, takes it. Hale, the quarterback, comes up and gains about 2 yards. Really no room to pitch it, because Howard Jackson and Christian Brown over on the far side had the pitch man covered up, and really he had only one choice, and that's to take it up down the field.
Anthony Hines in on that stop as well, and it's good to see Hines out there, making some great hits.
Another thing, when they put those, we mentioned again, when they put the 2 receivers on each side, you have to put some of your faster backs in there, and Hines having to play both ways a little bit. 2 receivers each side. This is kind of the old run and shoot offense, and Hale, the quarterback, sprints out to the left side, wants to throws a bullet out across to midfield, but it's over the receiver's head. And I believe that was Quaim Dean who was going after that football, but it was simply just a rocket thrown right over his head.
It really was. Jacket defense right there, and there wasn't too far away from making a play on that pass. Jacket pass defense making some marked improvements in the past 3 weeks.
Well, one thing you can say about Frisco is they have a lot of school spirit. They have names of every player, maybe just seniors, but there's a lot of names in huge writing across the Munson Stadium on the far side of all the players. All their last names are just plastered all over the place. So a lot of school spirit shown by the Frisco Coons. 2 receivers each side. Hale, the quarterback, under center, drops back, wants to throw, pumps fake to the right side, and is taken down by Anthony Washington. Washington gets up and says, "I don't think so. I just took you down, buddy."
Anthony Washington showing that explosive speed. To look at him, he's not a big kid, has surprising strength.
Timeout. Denison wants to take one. We'll take one with them. 1:41 left to go in the second quarter. Denison on top, 21-3. You're listening to Denison Yellow Jacket Football on KMKT.
Right. Okay, I understand.
Okay, 2 seconds. I've got it back on track now.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'm getting it there.
That's all right.
What were you saying, Julie?
Nathan Hale, the quarterback, gets a booming punt, as it sails, and Robert Jackson takes it at the 20, but the ball's on the turf, and we'll have to find out who came up with it. And Denison looks like they jump back on it as Pritchard gets off the pile with a football. So scary once again as Denison's putting the ball on the turf, but so far they've come back up with it, kind of like Paris did in game 1.
It really is, and held with a really good punt that time.
Oh yeah, he boomed that. It was a very nice punt. And Denison will take over, and they have really done well so far on offense. They're in their 2-minute drills right now with 1:29 left to go before halftime. We'll see if they run their little 2-minute drill and throw the ball down the field a little bit, or if they just kind of want to pound it out and check on their running game a little bit. And they set up with a whole bunch of receivers, so that's not going to be the case. 3 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near. And Crawley back, wants to throws to the outside, just overthrows his man, Howard Jackson. And Jackson really had no chance. He just turned around and watched the ball go over his head. So Crawley will try again on 2nd and 10 with 1:24 left to go before half.
Great tune-up game, as we mentioned earlier, to play throughout the rest of the district right here. And Crawley's starting to showcase some of those passing skills as he tries to get closer to that all-time mark.
Last score we had down in Bearcat Stadium was Sherman on top 7-6. We'll try to check and see if we can get
Then
another
Ryan
one.
scored again. It's 12-7.
All right, 12-7. Kevin Farr, the wizard, on the ball over there. He must be listening to the game in his headphones. Denison comes out, 2 receivers each side. Jerry Jones on the near side. Watch out over there. Casey Braxton along with him. Crawley shotgun formation, wants the ball, gets it, looks back, wants to throw to the right side, gets it off. He's going to be caught right about 2 yards past the original line of scrimmage and taken down immediately. That was Nesbitt who makes yet another catch. And like we say, I think he only needs 2 more to go past Mr. Junior Dade on the all-time, to break into the top 10 of the all-time receivers list. And Frisco's going to take a timeout. We're going to take one with them. 1:07 left to go in the first quarter. Denison on top, 21-3. We'll be back in a moment on KMKT. Julie Garzar, Grayson County Area-Wide Directory sideline reporter. Got anything for us down there?
Well, I found out what was wrong with old Rusty with his ear. He had a bee sting.
A bee sting.
Of all things.
Not a yellow jacket sting.
No, not a yellow jacket sting, just a bee sting.
All right, Crawley back in shotgun formation. 2 receivers each side. Drops back, wants to pass. All kinds of time. Now runs the screen to, this is Anthony Hines, who breaks a tackle at the 30. Gets up to the 34.
Be close.
And going to be at the 36-yard line. It's going to be real close to the first down. And Julie, we'll go back down to you, our Grayson County Area-Wide Sideline Directory. Do you think he's got the first down?
Well, let me see, Monte.
Take a good look at it now.
Yes, he did. He got it.
All right, don't worry about it because Jason's always wrong, so don't be worried about making it.
That's right.
All right.
All right, so Denison is going to push the chains up a little bit more. Remember, there's only 55 seconds left to go before halftime, and Denison wants to hurry up and get on the ball, waiting for the referees to blow the whistle so they can get on top of it. Here they go, 2 receivers each side. Crawley, shotgun formation. Hines is the one back. Crawley lifts his leg, wants the ball, looks to the left side, now looks to the right, throws, and just overthrows Will Crawley. Had it out in front of him, and his brother just couldn't get to the ball fast enough.
Got a flag in on the play, and it looks to me like, I don't know if Crawley's hand slipped or if he was hit right as he released that ball, but that ball was quite the wounded duck flying out there.
Yeah, I know he was looking to the near side, and he had Jerry Jones over here, and he was probably looking to run that same route that they scored that 37-yard touchdown on. But it looked like he was covered up, so he just looked to the right side, saw his brother, but just missed him.
Looks to be a personal foul penalty, the big one against the Frisco Coons. Evidently something in the defensive backfield on that last play.
Well, not something that Coach Mullen's going to be happy with there.
A little extracurricular activity down about 30 yards downfield as Christian Brown and one of the defensive backs for Frisco, and Frisco got flagged for the 15-yard penalty, and that's going to put the Jackets into Frisco territory, I believe. It should, with 15 yards marked off here. Yeah, that's something that you can't have happen if you're a Frisco Coon fan, because you give up the yards and yet no time runs off the clock with 42 seconds left to go in half, and they have now crossed midfield at the 48-yard line. So Denison will try to put it in the end zone right here before the half, and they'll line up
with 2 receivers to each side. Watch Jerry Jones as he lines up as a tight end on this play. So they will have 2 receivers on the near side, a tight end and a receiver on the right. Crawley running the draw up the middle and is looking for running room, but there's not much there. He gains about 3 yards and brought down about the 35 or 45-yard line rather. And Denison calls a timeout. We'll take one also. 32 seconds left to go in the first half. Denison on top, 21-3. You're listening to Yellow Jacket Football on KMKT. Welcome back to Munson Stadium. 32 seconds left to go in the first half. Denison all over the Frisco Coons here, 21-3, and they're moving on offense once again, trying to punch it in right before the half and pretty much take the life out of the Frisco Coons here. As we've got an update from Sherman. Denton Ryan now all over, in control, 18-7, as they just threw a 76-yard touchdown pass from James Battle. And Battle, folks, is the real deal, and Denton Ryan sets up a showdown next week with the Yellow Jackets, and we'll see what this secondary can do against Mr. Battle. Here it's 21-3, Denison on top and moving. Crawley, shotgun formation, 2 receivers each side. Wants to throw to the right side. Got Casey Braxton, who's going to be close to the first down, who runs out of bounds. I'm not sure if he got it or not. Let's check down with Julie. I know it's on the far side, but we'll see. Julie, did you get him?
Number 8, Colby Ivy, takes him out of bounds.
And I believe Julie is on the near side and may not have had a good look at that, but we'll check him out.
It's
not
penalty.
Yeah, they've got a flag on it anyway, so it's not going to really matter. They'll move the ball back, and now there's 25 seconds, and Denison's have to set up a second and rather long now.
False start penalty against the Yellow Jackets right there. Somebody a little bit anxious to get that play off.
And in fact, that's the first penalty on the Jackets tonight.
Yeah, the Jackets have really played a really nice ball game, really clean football game so far. Haven't really given up a big play, and themselves have scored on several big plays. The big 37-yard touchdown from Rob Crawley to Jerry Jones, the speedster, and then of course the touchdown from Anthony Hines on the other end, and a nice long run to go along with that as well. 2 receivers each side. Actually, just Christian Brown over here on the near side in shotgun formation. This is going to be the draw again with Rob Crawley dancing up through the middle, trying to find some blocks. Doesn't really get any. He's down right at the midfield stripe, so no gain, and the clock runs out for the first half rather. Denison on top, 21-3. Got a nice ball game going for you here if you're a Yellow Jacket fan. We'll take a timeout. You're listening to Denison Yellow Jacket Football on KMKT 93.1. So the Cable One kickoff is in the air. Jamie Butler sends it deep about the goal line. He's going to catch it right at the goal line. That's Ortega. Runs up to the 10, the 15, 20. At the 30, it's a foot race. He's going to make it to the out-of-bounds mark and goes down almost to midfield by being taken out by Robert Jackson. But very nice. He gained 44 yards on that kickoff return. They're going to spot it right. Well, they're going to move him up past that. They're going to move him about the 46. So,
Monte,
nice
on that one, just really, as it was poor coverage by the Jackets. Ortega took that ball at the goal line, veered to his left about 10 yards, and went straight up the field.
Nice catch, nice run. Now the offense comes out for Frisco. They're going to send 3 receivers out to the far side, 1 receiver to the near side. This is Hale, the quarterback, wants to look over here to the one man on the near side, catches it, and he's down to the 41-yard line. That's going to be Bo Burnett. He's a junior tight end, but he was split out to the right that side. Made a great catch, just a quick look in, and just a quick hitter. Now they're going to spot the ball at the 41-yard line. That moves the chains, 1st and 10.
First down play for Frisco. They're coming out with some fired-up enthusiasm and looking to take it to the Jackets here in the second half.
Yeah, they did show up right there on the last play. They got to the huddle really quick and executed very nicely. Hale, the quarterback, wants to run the draw out of the shotgun formation. Gains about 5 yards. Now he's gaining 7. Taken out by Raymond Smith over there on the far side as football is being thrown from the cheerleaders up here in the stands, about to knock us out.
Maybe we need to recruit a couple of those girls, I tell you what.
Some of them can really chunk those little footballs. 11-10 left to go in the third quarter. Denison on top, 21-3. Frisco has the ball pushing towards the Yellow Jacket end zone. 2nd and 4 on the Yellow Jacket 35. 2 receivers on each side. Hale, the quarterback, has 1 man in the backfield. Along with him, he is in shotgun formation. Wants to snap, gets it, wants to throw, now rolls out to the right, some pressure. And he's got his receiver out there. That was the big tight end again. That was Bo Burnett, and it simply went right through his hands. He put the ball was overthrown a little bit, just above his head, but he put his hands up, and it went right through his hands.
You know what they say, Monte. I mean, if it hits you in the hands, you've got to catch that ball. And Frisco, in their position, they cannot afford any dropped balls. That one right there could hurt.
Yeah, and he's got some gloves on. Apparently, he doesn't have the stickum on his gloves because it went right through him. 2 receivers to the near side. One spreads out to the far side, one back, and shotgun formation. It's going to be 3rd and 4. Big play here. Hale, the quarterback, runs up the middle, gets the first down, rumbling down to the 25-yard line. That will move the sticks. 10:38 on the clock until the 3rd quarter expires.
Frisco coming out here really fired up and playing with certain aggression, and that was the first time that I've seen Johnny Hoover miss a play.
Yeah, this is Johnny Hoover's actually going to check out of the football game as Shane Stone will go in. Don't know if Hoover maybe just a little fatigued a little bit, but we'll see what happens. 1st and 10. Frisco at the Yellow Jacket 26-yard line. Snaps it back to Hale, and he will run up the middle again. They're doing a lot of this now. Not really worried so much with the option. They're just going to let him run free up the middle.
That's right. When he starts to sprint around, he has great vision, Hale does, and really spots the hole in a hurry. And if he thinks he can make anything out of it, the Jackets have shown that they're shutting the pitch down, so he's opting to keep the ball and hit those holes.
Well, Shane Stone now checks back out of the ball game as they run kind of 3 receivers to the left side, to the far side. They're moving left to right on the radio dial. Here's the snap. Hale wants to throw to the near side, and that's his big tight end again, who's finally wrestled down by Christian Brown. He's a big kid.
He is a big kid. Christian Brown, with all he could handle, having to wrap number 80's legs up with his own legs. 80's so much bigger than Christian Brown, but a great tackle by Brown.
80 being Bo Burnett. He is a big guy out there. 6'2" and 210. It's a big frame to try to bring down after he catches the football. So that'll bring up another first down, as this is by far the best Frisco's offense has been able to move on the Yellow Jacket defense so far.
Frisco really driving here.
2 receivers each side. Hale he finally pitches the football instead of running up the middle, and it's going to be a great defensive effort up front as Anthony Washington and Johnny Hoover and company, a lot of those guys stood up, made the play along with Robert Jackson, who seems to be always around the football.
Defensive line really showed up on that play. Anthony Washington came untouched, and as soon as Hale turned around, there was big old number 47 right in his face.
Once again, Howard Jackson also into the ball game along with Ronnie Powell as the secondary. Robert Jackson, Casey Braxton, Christian Brown, a lot of secondary guys in there. Hale, the quarterback, drops back, wants to throw over the middle in the end zone. It is caught, and it is dropped right at the end zone. And Robert Jackson makes the play at the end zone. I thought that was going to be a score for a moment.
Well, the ball was in his breadbasket. Robert Jackson did a great job of ripping the ball loose before the receiver could maintain possession or get possession of the ball.
He was right at the goal line. Let's check down with our Grayson County Area-Wide Directory sideline reporter, Julie Garza. Julie, did you get a good look at that? Julie is not.
I thought the Jackets were a little bit in trouble, but the pass was a little bit underthrown, intended for Ortega. A little bit underthrown in the front of the end zone. And that allowed Jackson to recover and knock that one away at the last minute.
Yeah, the Yellow Jackets have called a timeout. We're going to keep it right here. And really at the goal line, I thought there for a moment that it was going to be taken away. I think Julie has something for us now. Julie, can you hear us?
Oh, just barely.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Julie, I was wondering if you got a good look down there at the end zone on that. Looked like it was going to be a touchdown, but taken away.
Oh, yeah, it was a real close play. I really don't know what happened.
I think Robert Jackson was right there to take the football away, just stripped it away at the last moment. And the Jackets really have their backs to the door now, 3rd and 12. 8:42 left to go in the 3rd quarter, and trying to keep the Frisco Coons off of the scoreboard.
Well, the defensive unit's going to really get to show what they're made of right here. As we've said time and time again, they'll bend, but they don't break. Well, their backs are up against the wall right now. Indeed, the safety pinned with his back against his own end zone. So we'll have to see what the Jacket defense can do on this play.
Well, it's one of those things when you're up 21-3 at the half, it's hard to get up for the second half. The kids sure haven't shown enthusiasm so far. Here's the ball on the turf. Johnny Hoover is not able to corral it, but the quarterback, Hale, picks it up and goes toward the far sideline. He's going to lose a bunch of yards, but he still held on to the football.
Well, it was a bad snap from center. Hale had to go down and get it, bobbled it a little bit. Johnny Hoover came free, and you know how quick he is, especially when he smells a loose ball. Johnny Hoover streaking in there. Hale was lucky to escape and get out of bounds without taking a really big hit.
Yeah, he did. He lost a bunch of yards. Going to bring up 4th down. And we'll see. We're going to try a field goal here, and it looks like it's going to be about a 36-yarder as Buwala won. I said it 3 times. I just said it again. We'll try the 37-yard field goal. It's up, and the kick is long enough, and it is good. So they're on the board once again, 21-6, 8:29 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Denison on top. You're listening to Yellow Jacket Football on KMKT. Anthony Hines will be back for the Cable 1 kickoff, and it is in the air, but it's not long. It's going to be one of those. It's going to be one of those shuffle kicks. It just kind of floats around the.
Shuffled on out of bounds is what it did.
Finally shuffled out around the 35-yard line, 32-yard line. So that'll be a penalty on Frisco. Let's get an American Bank scoring drive.
All right, Monte. Frisco came out, took the opening kickoff of the second half, drove 38 yards in 8 plays. End result, a 37-yard field goal, bringing the score 21-6 with the Yellow Jackets still on top.
8:25 left to go, 3rd quarter. Denison really handling this one well. Like I said, the Yellow Jacket offense has really been unstoppable so far, spreading the offense out. Crawley's been able to throw whenever he wants to, and they've been able to pretty much run the ball with Anthony Hines whenever they wanted to. So it's kind of like one of those mid-90s Yellow Jacket games when they're up big at half and they've done whatever they wanted to. So Crawley has a receiver to the near side, 2 to the far side in the shotgun formation. Wants to snap, gets it, hands it off up the middle, Anthony Hines. He doesn't really run with a lot of aggression on that play and is taken down right at the line of scrimmage. So that's not the Anthony Hines we saw in the first half.
Well, no, you're talking about him being taken down. He's still on his feet with 6 guys on his back. He was hit initially. A guy had him around the ankle, one ankle, and Anthony fought and finally was able to free that ankle just in time to take another couple of hits as he tried to bounce it outside. Still, in result, a 2-yard loss.
Well, that is a loss of 1. They're going to mark it 2nd and 11. Howard Jackson checks into the football game. 3 receivers to the near side. Crawley under center this time. Wants to throw to the right side. There's going to be a flag on the play, and Nesbitt caught it right at the line of scrimmage and taken down immediately, but there is a flag, like we said, so we'll wait and check that out. It would have been his 3rd catch if it's going to be holding or a false start on Denison, and it's not. It's going to be on the Frisco Coons.
I think the play is probably going to be waved off, and the Jackets will probably take this 5 yards right here.
And that's going to take one of those catches away from Nesbitt, so he's going to have to wait a little bit longer to get into that top 10 all-time receiving with catches, as he needs just 2 more to slide in there past Junior Dade.
Talking about that play right there, it was just a quick slant in is what the play was supposed to be. The cornerback right on top of the play, and could have had disastrous results as the corner did not bite at all.
2nd down, 6.
Yeah, he didn't bite at all, and Nesbitt was able to make the catch. And I think they're going to try to throw the ball a little bit downfield again. 2nd and 6, 7:41 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Crawley wants to throw to the right, has a man, great screen over to Howard Jackson, who busted out to the 45-yard line of Frisco, crosses midfield, got a great block over there. It was either from Christian Brown or Gabe Carter, not sure which one, but one of them had a great block here on the near side.
It was a gorgeous block, and that play set up beautifully, the wide receiver screen, and it was a thing of beauty. We've got one of the linemen, looks like defensive lineman for Frisco, was limping off a little bit, however, under his own power.
And Will Crawley checks into the ball game. They all have wristbands on, so they call a number, and they're all checking the wristbands to see what the play is. 2 receivers to the near side. Crawley shotgun formation, wants the ball, gets it, hands it off, up the middle to Anthony Hines. Runs with force up to the line of scrimmage, breaks a tackle, but he can't break the tackle of Blake King. As I tell you what, if he would have broken that one, he had a long way to go, Jason.
He really did. As reverting back to Lynn Burke, had 1 man to beat right there, but truly he did. Nobody else in front of him except for number 22, the only man that could stop him, did so.
And what we were talking about earlier is this no-huddle formation they got. Every wide receiver and back have wristbands on, which have play calls on their arms, so all they have to do is call a number or a color and look and see what the play is, and that's what they're doing now, going no-huddle. Crawley, quarterback, back, wants to throw it. Pressure from up the middle. Wants to throw downfield, has Nesbitt down, and he makes the catch and then drops it at the 3. There was great coverage, so give Frisco the credit. It was great coverage inside, and Colby Ivy had he just had the inside track on him and batted the ball away. At the moment, for a moment, Nesbitt had it, and I thought he was going to come down with it.
Nesbitt was basically turned head over heels, took a pretty good shot on that, the way he ended up landing really roughly. But that play set up Will Crawley a great view of the field, great presence of the pressure, and was able to escape a would-be tackler.
Yeah, he would have lost about 5 yards had he not been able to get away from the defensive lineman that was in his face. And this is going to be another delay or stop in action, another flag on the play.
It's going to be third down for the Jackets, too, guys. And in the first half, Denison pretty decent in the first half. They converted 2 out of 5 times on third down. Didn't go to third down very often, but this one's going to be third and long as they're flagged for a procedure.
Yeah, the Dallas chapter referee says that Denison wasn't doing something right. Jumped off sides a little early. It's going to push him down, push him back a little bit, make it a 3rd and 9 with 6:19 left to go, third quarter. Denison all on top on this one, 21-6 so far, and pushing for the end zone once more. 3rd and long, 2 receivers out. Gabe Carter near side, Howard Jackson in motion, coming from near side to Farr. Crawley under center, pitches up to, this is reverse to Howard Jackson, running to the near side. He's up to the 40, 35, breaks a tackle to the 30, and finally is dropped down about the 20 to the 19-yard line. Great run by Howard Jackson. What it was, Jason, there's somebody down on the field, but that was a great play. It was kind of a reverse, wasn't it?
It really was a reverse as Jackson went in motion from the near side to the far side, offensive left to right. As he cleared the offensive line, Crawley snapped it, handed it off to the running back. And
Brown's probably been watching college football on Saturday. He's got that one. That's a Florida State play right there.
Yeah, whatever kind of play it is, it's great.
I've seen the Seminoles run it several times.
Denison hustling up to the line of scrimmage. Crawley wants to hand off up the middle to Pritchard, who goes nowhere, who's corralled by a bunch of Frisco Coons, by Brian Heller is one of the guys who was there. Shane Stone came off the field earlier, limping a little bit. We don't know exactly what the extent of the injury is. We'll have our Grayson County area-wide directory or sideline reporter Julie Garza check it out in a moment or two. And we'll check out Shane Stone, see how he's doing.
Talking about Brian Pritchard going for no gain. He took a lot of hits on that last play to go for no gain.
I think it took all 9 guys. Crawley, now they're really trying to get up to the line quickly. Tosses to Hines, who has the outside. He's got it in the end zone. It's going to be a 19-yard touchdown for Anthony Hines and the Yellow Jackets. Stick it on that scoreboard, Lynn Burkhead. Wish you were here, buddy. 27-6. 5:11 left to go in the third quarter, awaiting the PAT.
And did you see who had the block that sprung him to the outside? It was Rob Crawley out leading the pack on the sweep. He had the block that sprung Hines, who went untouched to the end zone.
We've said it many times that Rob Crawley is not afraid to put a hit on anybody. Of course, talking earlier that he played a little linebacker earlier as Schmitz with the PAT. The kick is up. And the kick is good. 5:11 left to go, third quarter. Denison all over the Frisco Coons, 28-6 at Munson Stadium. We'll be back in a moment on KMKT. Butler with the Cable One kickoff, boots it down. This is going to be Brian Heller who takes the ball. He's got a lot of running room up the middle, but is dragged down at the 30-yard line. They're going to spot him right at the 31. So a pretty nice return on a pretty good kick from Jamie Butler, and they're going to take over and start action at the 31 at their own end of the field with 5:02 left to go third quarter.
You know, here in Grayson County, lots of things compare between Sherman and Denison, but when you look at this, Sherman already playing the Frisco Coons. Of course, they had the delayed game that was completed. Took them 2 days to beat the Coons. Jackets right now up on Frisco 28-6, one more score, and they outdo what Sherman did.
That is correct. 2 receivers each side. Now a man in motion. That's going to be Ryan. And actually the quarterback, Hale, just kept the ball, ran up the middle for about 1 yard, and I thought he was going to pitch it out, but he just kept the ball and nothing doing as the Jackets sniffed out everything. Shelly Pitts is the man on the tackle.
And we got an update from Bearcat Stadium, 25-14 now. Denton Ryan leading the Sherman Bearcats in the third quarter.
Bearcats rather starting to claw their way back into that game. Look for a moment like may have been a lost cause, but they are not giving up yet.
2 receivers each side. Hale, the quarterback, sprints out to the right, wants to throw, has a man. It is up and through his hands once again. That's the big tight end, Bo Burnett. I don't see, he's got to be 6'2", 3, and that ball had to be thrown up about 7'3" or so.
Well, when you look at that, Hale was hit by Anthony Hines as he released, and that was made possible, or not Anthony Hines, excuse me, Anthony Washington. Washington spun off of his block. The guy went to his knees trying to hit Washington. Washington kind of catapulted and spun off that block and was able to apply the pressure. 3rd and 8. Frisco comes to the line. 2 receivers near side, 1 to the far, 1 man in the backfield. Hale wants to toss it back, and now he's going out for the pass. He catches it at the 50, down to the 43-yard line, as that's one of the halfback pass where he tossed it back to Aaron Anzuna, and Anzuna took the ball, thought he was going to run, then he just simply dropped back and threw it to the quarterback Hale, who was running the out pattern. Great touch pass by Anzuna, as he had a great, it was just a perfectly thrown pass. One of the Jackets safeties was coming up on it, sniffed that play out, and swatted at the ball, but missed.
The old quarterback throwback.
Yeah, so coming out on 3rd and 8, Frisco goes to the trick book a little bit and comes out with a first down. 1st and 10, 4:12 left to go, 3rd quarter. Denison on top, 28-6. Hale wants to throw the deep ball. He's got Christian Brown down there, the cornerback, who makes a great play on the big tight end again. That's Burnett, but Christian Brown made a spectacular play by tipping that ball away. Christian was step by step, step for step with the big tight end, and at the very last second stuck his right hand in there and knocked that ball away. That was a beautiful play by a cornerback. You can't get much better than that. Let's check down on the field with our Grayson County Area-Wide Directory sideline reporter, Julie Garza. We'll do that in one moment as Frisco comes up to the line. I wanted to check on Shane Stone, make sure he's okay. But the Frisco Coons come up to the line. Hale, the quarterback, shotgun formation, wants to run the draw. Does, and gets nowhere as he's stuffed right at the line by Johnny Hoover, Shelly Pitts and company. Tell you, those front guys on the defensive line have done a great job. Let's check down with Julie. Julie, got anything on Mr. Stone for us?
Well, it looks like actually the injury is undetermined right now. I don't think that they are allowed to say this to me. I don't think they're allowed to give me analysis.
They're not going to tell you what's wrong with him, huh?
They're not going to tell me what's wrong. And matter of fact, I don't think he knows himself right now. So it's just his hand.
All right.
He's okay.
Well, it's a hand injury.
It's a hand injury. He'll be all right.
All right. Thank you, Julie. Frisco comes to the line. 2 receivers to each side. Shotgun formation. Hale fakes the snap. Fakes the handoff, rolls out to the right, has a man downfield, and it's just out of his hands. The wide receiver down there was Steven Cisnero, and it was great coverage by Ronnie Powell and company. There was another one. Robert Jackson was also there, but the ball simply was just overthrown. Anthony Washington one more time applying pressure from the blind side as Hale rolled out to his right. That's a name we haven't mentioned a whole lot tonight, is Anthony Washington. However, we've mentioned his name in every other game a lot of times. It's just that tonight he's applying the pressure, but they have yet to really get to him. Mass substitutions for the Jackets. As it is 4th down for Frisco, and they look like they're in punting formation. Hale drops back to punt the football away, but a lot of substitution going on. Denison may be flagged. We'll have to check and see what's going on as the referees are huddled up in the middle of the field. I think the Jackets were looking initially expecting a punt, and then they seen the a wideout, you might say a gunner for the punt team, that was uncovered out here on the near side. Christian Brown come running in, but it was a false start for the Coons, so whatever trick they had up their sleeve may be negated due to the penalty. Well, they won't do it now, and what also scares you is when the quarterback Hale drops back to punt, because he could do some throwing on you too. That's right. 4th and 14, 3:13 left to go in the quarter. Hale gets off a good punt, and this is going to back up Robert Jackson all the way inside the 10, and he gets a block, and then he breaks a tackle, he gets another block, and gets up to the 20-yard line, and that's where Denison will take over. 3 minutes to go left in the 3rd quarter. Denison on top, 28-6. The offense is going to be up and rolling once again.
3 minutes left in the third quarter, and lots of passing action, lots of punts so far by Frisco, especially, and game kind of dragging along.
Let's go over the scoring so far in this football game. It was Denison who got on the board first with a 26-yard run by Brian Pritchard after a great run by Hines to set it up. And then Frisco got on the board with Buwalawan with a 37-yard field goal. Hines scored again on the big run as Denison comes up to the line, hands off to Pritchard, pitches back, and he gains about 2 yards. It's going to set up second at about 8 or 9 with 2:52 left to go third quarter. As I mentioned, Hines scored the second touchdown for the Yellow Jackets from 2 yards out after a nice drive of 49 yards on 9 plays. And then the big bomber, Rob Crawley to Jerry Jones, way down for the 34-yard touchdown. Schmitz added the extra point. And Denison comes back to the line of scrimmage. Crawley wants to pitch, has Hines out in the flats, and he crosses about the 28-yard line. He's going to be brought down by a host of Frisco Coons, including Eric Vanderpool, who was there on the spot. Frisco then got on the board again, Buwalawan with a 38-yard field goal, and that brought the score to 21-6. And a moment ago, Hines just scored from 19 yards out, puts him over the 100-yard mark, and that was a 7-play, 63-yard drive. So as you can tell, Denison has run pretty well on offense tonight. Crawley under center, offset I formation.
3rd and short.
3rd and 1. Have to convert here if they want to keep the drive alive. And they're going to hand off to Anthony Hines, who stutter steps for a moment and then finally guns it up in the hole and gets right at the 30-yard line. That's going to be really, really close.
I think Hines was a little surprised himself that he got the pitch. I think he was expecting some sort of a fake pitch right there.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. The coaches are looking at him, wondering what's going on. He's defending himself, saying, I didn't know what I was doing, maybe.
It was enough to pick up the first down, however. Referee out of Dallas signaling that.
And the first down, it's going to be 1:39 left to go in the third quarter. Denison all over the Frisco Coons, 28-6. Denison has the ball at their own 32-yard line and driving. 1st and 10. Denison really quick to the line of scrimmage. 2 receivers to the right side. Crawley handoff. Doesn't get it off in time, I believe. I think that's going to be a delay of game. We'll have to check and make sure. But Denison was really hustling up to the line, and it's going to be a false start on Denison. So that's going to back them up and make it even tougher. It'll start out 1st and 15. Jason, a beautiful night, Munson Stadium.
Absolutely gorgeous. You know, it's great football weather. There's no wind, which is completely surprising to me, being in Texoma land with 0 wind, moderate temperatures. I don't know, right around, what's it feel like, right around 60 degrees or so?
Oh, it's just beautiful. You know, and you say no wind, and that's exactly right. They usually walk out of the tunnel with the smoke in the air, and the smoke just stood there and didn't go anywhere. Crawley wants to pitch the ball. He does to Hines, who eludes one tackler, tries to get back to the line of scrimmage, and he is just buried behind the line of scrimmage. That's going to be a loss of 1 or 2 as Hines kind of stutter-stepped his way towards the sidelines to the near side. They're moving right to left on the radio dial.
Well, the blocking seemed to have broken down for Hines on that play right there. Previously, the Jackets have been able to get out there, establish their blocks and maintain their blocks, but that time seemed that it broke down a little early.
Yeah, he initially made one great move by eluding one tackler and being able to at least get to the outside. It could have been a big loss, but managed to only lose 2 or 1 or 2. As they come to the line of scrimmage, Crawley back, wants to pass, throws the screen out to the near side. That's going to be Micah Doherty, actually, and he gets to the 35. That is Trent Mahana. I'm sorry, I had the wrong guy. Trent Mahana gets out to the 35-yard line, but that's still well short of the first down. It's going to bring up 3rd and very long.
Trent doing a great job right there of keeping himself in bounds. Caught that pass on the angle and forced him to go right to the sidelines, but was able to maintain his footing, stay in bounds for another 7 yards.
Trent's been one of those kind of guys who makes the big play in the end zone. He's not really a down-the-field receiver, but it seems like when it comes crunch time down around the goal line, he's one of those weapons that you have. Crawley hands off inside. Brian Pritchard has some running room, but he's pounded down about the 37-yard line. That's still going to be short of the first down. It flips the marker over to 4th down, and with 15 seconds and rolling, that's probably going to be the last play of the third quarter.
Well, on 3rd and long, instead of the delayed draw, we had the quick hitter right there to Pritchard. Picked up about 3 yards on that.
Yeah, it was the old fullback counter trap as Pritchard came from the right side of the line to the left, and that's when the clock expired at 0 for the third quarter. We're headed to Jacket quarter, folks. Denison on top, 28-6. You're listening to Denison Yellow Jacket football on KMKT. Welcome back, Munson Stadium. Jamie Butler back to punt, gets a high kick. Is going to be a fair catch called for at the 25-yard line by Steven Cisneros, and he was probably pretty smart to call the fair catch. Several Jackets down there to just light him up.
Jackets doing a great job, as always, on punt coverage. But, you know, Butler not having his best night tonight punting. The other punt that he had, one was quite shorter than we're used to from Mr. Butler. But that one, a good punt, really high.
A lot of good news here for the Jackets, but some bad news if you're a Jacket fan, because Will Crawley is headed towards the locker room. Don't know the extent of the injury and certainly won't speculate what the injury is, but he was walking on his own power heading to the field house, so we'll check and see what happens there. Hale, the quarterback, throws a little screen pass out to the side, to the near side, gains about 5 yards up to the 30 before being taken down by Casey Braxton and Raymond Smith. Great job by the defense pursuing once again, and they say Denison Yellow Jacket defense likes to swarm, and they swarmed that time with all 11 guys getting to the football.
They really do, and the Jackets have swarmed all season. The defense, if there has been noticeable bright spots throughout the season, it has been the Jacket defense, notably the Jacket defensive line, playing together and gelling together as a great unit.
Yeah, they really have. They've stepped it up and played some good football on defense. Hale, the quarterback, this is a two-receiver set to the near side, man in motion, drops back, wants to pass, throws across the middle, and pretty much throws the deep ball, has a man down, but he overthrows him. Robert Jackson was there, the safety, to make the play. Actually, you know, he just made the coverage,
right,
but the ball was overthrown to the receiver, who tried to get it with Steven Cisneros once again, and Cisneros just couldn't catch up with it.
They're going to have to watch Cisneros, though, because they're at the last. He started to pull away from Jackson with relative ease. Really a quick kid, deceivingly quick, and that may be another route that they may try again a little bit later.
You know, Frisco is kind of one of those teams who has a lot of size up front and a lot of speed on the corners. You'd think they'd be one of those teams that'd really be dominating, but they're so young and inexperienced. Hale, the quarterback, goes up the middle for about 3 or 4 yards before being brought down by those line of scrimmage guys on the Denison defensive front. And what I mean by that is Johnny Hoover, Shelly Pitts, and the backer Raymond Smith, all right there to make the stop. Brings up very important 4th and 3, and they have gone for it twice so far in this football game, and with their backs to the door, we'll see what they do here. And you think still, you know, they're way in their own end of the field, and to go for it on 4th down and here and to not make it would be just shooting yourself in the foot. And guys, they're going to go for it as Hale gets the ball back, has to roll out, is under pressure, now tucks it under runners. He's got the first down. He's going across midfield and finally tracked down by Christian Brown.
Wait just a minute, though. Flag is laying on the far side of the field.
The Wizard spots the flag.
You know, Hill's showing some great speed, a good spin move to get out and get away from Anthony Washington, who had him tracked down in the backfield. That doesn't happen very often, but that penalty even aiding Frisco more.
Yeah, that's going to be offsides against Denison, so that doesn't help out the Yellow Jacket cause of getting the football back. A 4th and 3 now turns into 1st and 10 on the Yellow Jacket side of the football field at the 46-yard line. So Hale really commanding that offense and doing a great job, especially on that 4th and 3 play by tucking it up and making a good play out of it. 2 receivers to the far side, moving left to right, or right to left rather, on the radio dial. Shotgun formation. He's going to run it again right up the middle, and it's going to be Anthony Washington who makes the tackle before he gains about 3 yards. So 9:52 left to go in Jacket quarter, and that is 4th quarter if you're just tuning in and not familiar with what the Yellow Jackets do around here. They call that 4th quarter Jacket quarter, and they are up 28-6. Frisco comes to the line. Once again, that 2 receiver set to each side. We've seen that all night long. Hale loves to run out of that formation, and he gets the snap on the shotgun formation, and he's going to throw this time downfield. That was almost intercepted, but the receiver makes the catch. That is Brian Heller, who the ball actually went through one of the defender's hands, and he made the catch and then was nailed.
Robert Jackson absolutely flattened him. He was momentarily blinded as one of the Jacket cornerbacks jumped trying to pick up the ball. went over his head. He caught the ball, and then Jackson lit him up.
And Heller, he fully paid for that one.
Yeah, he surely did. Anthony Hines, I thought, was going to make the interception on that play, went up for it. The ball simply went through his hands, and when it did, Heller came down with the football and then was lit up by Jackson. So that moves the sticks, however, and that'll be down at the 29-yard line for Frisco as they're kind of pushing towards the end zone. And Hale wants to throw. He's back in shotgun, and he just simply throws it all over everybody's head. He has a cannon. He can really throw that football.
He really does, and I think that time he was basically throwing that ball away. Lots of pressure coming from right up the middle, Shelley Pitts and company, and basically a coverage, not necessarily a sack, but a coverage forced that throwaway, if you will.
Vincent Rhodes checking into the football game for Shelley Pitts. Vincent is a sophomore, hasn't seen a lot of action tonight, but he will check in at the defensive tackle spot. 3 receivers to the near side, 2nd and 10, 9-12 left to go in this football game. Frisco's got to score, and he throws to the right side, overthrows his receiver again. That is Nick Pawalawan.
Anthony Washington supplying the pressure right there. One swim move, and he was past his blocker.
Pawalawan, also the kicker, but now playing a little bit of a wide receiver spot out there. And
you just like saying that.
Pawalawan, that's a great name. The kicker, Pawalawan. You know he's going to make the NFL.
Oh, yeah, but yeah.
With a name like that,
Grammatica will be nothing new.
3 receivers near side. Frisco 3rd and 10. Got to move the ball here if they want to score. And they throw a little touch pass out to the flats, and it's going to be the tailback, Anzuna, and he's going to get the first down, or it's going to be real close.
It's going to be about a yard short.
Well, they threw the ball out in the flats, and he actually caught it in the backfield. Looked like it might have been a lateral, and he shook a couple of defensive tacklers and worked his way down. And you're right, Kevin, it's going to be just a little bit short, about a half a yard maybe, but it is 4th down. They've got to score here, so I doubt they'll kick it, Jason.
Jackets seeing something they don't like, and they take a timeout. We'll take one with them. We'll return to Munson Stadium on 93.1 KMKT.
And Hale, the quarterback, underneath center in an I formation, power tight. Quarterback sneak, dives for the first down. There's no way he couldn't have gotten that because the line surged forward, and he had to at least get a yard. He probably even got 2.
You know, for once tonight, the Frisco offensive line was able to rock Denison back on their heels, and it was just enough, about 2 yards enough, to get the first down.
Yeah, that's right. Now you got to keep these guys out of the end zone if you're the Yellow Jackets. You know, giving up field goals is one thing, but giving up touchdowns is another, and you don't want to let them back into this football game because there is still 8:20 left to go. Hale hands off up the middle. That's on Zuna, and he gains another 2 yards. So they're still driving the football a little bit, just inch by inch by inch. This is probably one of those drives that's going to last forever, as it's already probably about 4 minutes into this drive.
8 minutes, 2 seconds. Clock still cranking in Jacket Quarter here at Munson Stadium. Great home crowd still on hand, watching this game come to fruition.
Hale, the quarterback, up the line of scrimmage, I formation. All those receivers are not for naught anymore. They're up on the line, so he wants to throw this time, and he throws it to his wide receiver, who simply drops the ball. He throws it out towards the sideline, and his receiver, Cisneros, had the ball. It was a little bit low, but he could have caught that ball.
I didn't see anyone over there covering Cisneros whatsoever. It makes me wonder if it was that old play where the kid sneaks out and he's talking to his teammates right on the sideline and then kind of pulls over there into the slot position.
Well, now they're up under center again. No receivers except for the one over there on the far side. Hale, the quarterback, has faked it, and he's now going to throw. He is tricky, folks. Throws into the end zone. It's a jump ball, and they catch it for a touchdown. The Frisco is on the board with the touchdown. That'll make the score 28-12. That was just the old dipsy-doodle trickery play.
And that was a Statue of Liberty play. He just stood there acting like nobody had the ball, and the Jacket defense was looking all around, see who had the ball, and was able to roll out untouched.
What he did is he faked the handoff and had his back to the line of scrimmage with the ball in his hand and just stood there. And the Jackets just ran around him and didn't think that he had the ball, and he simply just rolled out in the flats and threw it to his man in the end zone.
Has absolutely the best fake I have ever seen.
Here's Buwalawan with the kick for the extra point. Kick is up, and the kick is good. So with 7:32 left to go in this football game, Denison is in command, but just giving up a touchdown. It's now 28-13 Denison. You're listening to KMKT 93.1.
4 minutes and 20 seconds, 15-yard pass to Mr. Duckworth, score 28-13.
Here's the onside kick. Frisco is trying to go after it. I don't believe it went far enough initially before they touched it, but we'll check and see. I can't even tell who got on it from over here. It's on the far side.
I really can't tell either. That's the problem with those. Everybody's crowded around. That scoring drive brought to you by American Bank.
I think one of the Frisco players got on it, but they touched one of the other players touched the ball right before it got to the 50-yard line.
Yeah, I saw somebody hit it about the 48. So obviously you can't hit it before it goes 10 yards.
So it's going to be Denison ball at the Jackets' 48-yard line after the failed onside kick attempt.
Boy, that could have made things interesting right there.
Yeah, it sure could have. If they'd have scored again, it would have been a 28-20 ball game with about 7 left. But here we are with 7:25 left, and Denison on top 28-13.
Got another stoppage of plays. The officials coming out one more time.
This is getting to be a situation where this game is reaching new levels of length. We may be here until midnight, folks.
I think they're going to change their mind and say they're going to give it to the Jackets, where the ball touched the Jacket player or the Frisco player at the Frisco 48.
So Jackets will take over. A brand new offensive line, looks like, but Crawley's still in the football game. It's going to toss out to Hines, and he's going to get a good block inside and gain about, well, he's still going. Hines is fighting for yardage down about the 37-yard line, and I didn't think that he was going to make it very far, but he kept fighting and kept turning those legs. And I tell you what, he got close to a first down, and they're going to mark it a first down.
You know, a lot of things helping that run, too. Frisco not as intent on making the tackle as they are as trying to strip the ball. Hines doing a great job of wrapping up, but in their failed attempts to strip the ball, they were allowing Hines to run for more yards.
Yeah, that was a great run, especially at the end by Hines. That's one of those on the film that the coaches are going to say, hey, you know what, Mr. Hines, if you do that every time, you're going to have a lot of 100-yard games.
Oh, yeah.
So Mr. Hines, of course, is a 100-yard carrier tonight as Crawley wants to give it to Pritchard up the middle. This is a counter trap again. He's going to gain 2 or 3 before finally being brought down.
Pritchard stumbled as he went to the hole on that one and came down a little shorter than he planned.
That was kind of the old Moose Johnston type of run where he lands on his face. Pritchard, of course, being a great fullback so far this year with a lot of yards. He really runs the ball well. Also have the sophomore checking into the game. That's Vincent Rhodes one more time. He was a tight end. Coach Brown telling us that they switched him and moved him over to a lineman. So he will be at the tackle position, and Trent Mahana is the tight end. This is a power I set. Rob Crawley, the quarterback, 2nd and 8 from the 35, tosses it to Hines once again. Hines got some running room, and he busted up through past the 30 down to the 26-yard line. So Hines running with some authority here in the fourth quarter. He may go over the 150 mark, Kevin, if we're not careful.
Great job of blocking up front by the Denison offensive line. This group continues to gel and grow up week to week.
5:58 and counting on the clock here in Jacket quarter. Fourth quarter, it's 28-13, Jackets on top. Now they're in the huddle. They're obviously not in their no huddle hurry up offense as they want to chew up this clock and put this one in the books. Crawley under center wants to hand it off, and he does to Anthony Hines, who gets a good block on the outside. He's got some running room, flag on the play, but he's down around the 5-yard line to about the 3.
Coming back.
Monte, we have flags all over the field. There, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4 flags that I see out there on the field right now. Flags on the field.
I think the people who are running the chains even threw their flags.
Somebody must have done something pretty obvious then if everybody on every official out there saw it.
And the person who did the obvious was for Denison, as they're going to bring that one back as the Yellow Jackets kind of shoot themselves in the foot there. That was a big, nice gainer by Anthony Hines, who probably would have put him at the 150 mark, but all for naught there, as it is now marked off holding on Denison, and that's going to push it back another 5 yards.
It's one of those really good blocks right there.
Yeah, it's one of those really good ones until it gets caught, I guess.
Yeah.
Ronnie Powell checking into the offensive slot. He usually runs that slot back position, and him and Nesbitt will come out to the near side. A power eye set in the backfield, 1st and 13. Crawley hands off up the middle to Hines. More flags on the play as Hines busted out again, but
hey guys, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Texoma Sports Broadcasting Network. Back to Munson Stadium, and the Jackets relatively penalty-free in the first half, but Hankies have been coming out quite a bit against the black and gold here in the second half, guys.
Well, I think it's hard to maintain focus when you're up 28-13, and time is running out in the fourth quarter, and he's going to hand off right here to Anthony Hines, and guess what, folks? Another penalty flag. So Denison, after playing a very clean football game for 3.5 quarters, have now had back-to-back penalties. Not pretty. 4:50 left to go in this fourth quarter.
Denison, touch of gold band getting into it with a little sing-along.
I tell you, that Denison band has got to be up there with some of the very best in Texas. They just put on a magnificent performance week after week after week, and I tell you, a lot of fans come here to watch this great football team, but some of the fans come here to see the band.
That's right.
I think that penalty was declined, however.
That's going to bring up a 2nd and 17. The clock's still rolling, 4:41 to go, and it's going to put the Jackets on the Frisco 33-yard line, so you can tell how far they were. They're still at the 33. Here's a pitch to Hines, running up the middle, gets a couple of blocks, still got his feet, and gains about 10 yards before being knocked down about the 25-yard line. That's still going to be well short of the first down. It's going to bring up a 3rd and probably about 9, we'll call it. Maybe 8. But another nice run by Anthony Hines, and that one counted.
Really was, yes. No laundry on the field after that play. A good thing to see. Raymond Smith checking into the game now.
Hey, Kevin, let's see how far we're away from Rob Crawley breaking that record. I'm not sure.
Well, he's only got 2 completions here in the second half.
So he still needs 5, apparently. Here's a toss to Hines up the middle, kind of dancing a little bit. Not much running room up the middle, and that's a gain of about an inch.
Brought down by number 22.
Got 4th down and 9. We may see Rusty Schmitz come out and try this long field goal, and I don't see him yet. And Jamie Butler is going to try.
I guess with Schmitz suffering the bee sting, maybe afraid that affects his equilibrium somewhat, and so looks like they're opting for Jamie Butler on this attempt.
Well, this is on the right hash. Jamie Butler, a left-footed kicker, and it will be a 47-yarder, 42-yarder, and he kicks the snot out of the ball, but it was wide right. That ball would have cleared from about 55, and he kicked it wide right. So Frisco will take over with 3:07 left to go in the football game. Denison all over Frisco in this game, 28-13. It doesn't read that way on the scoreboard as just a slaughter, but it really was early in the first half and through the third quarter. And Frisco has just scored a late touchdown here recently. Frisco already trying to get out to the line of scrimmage, hail the quarterback, 2 receivers each side in the shotgun formation. Wants the ball very quickly, drops back to pass. Got Casey Braxton all over him, and Anthony Washington makes the sack. Those 2 guys were all over him in the backfield. Braxton and Washington combined on the sack.
That's right, Braxton was out there in his somewhat of a cover position as that play started shifting and showed the blitz a little bit early, but Hale did not see it, and he came untouched.
Frisco in the hurry-up offense, under the 3 minutes to go. He wants to throw and throws the screen pass, the middle screen to Azua, and he breaks one tackle, breaks another, and is popped at the 30-yard line. One of the guys there is Anthony Hines. The other guy is Shelly Pitts. I believe Pitts is the one that really nailed it.
Well, Shelly Pitts came from the backside. The play originally being a pass had gotten past Shelly Pitts, and he tracked it down from the backside and hauled him in.
2:17 left to go. Hale, the quarterback, pitches out to Azua. He breaks one tackle, gets across enough for the first down out to the 36-yard line, but the clock is still rolling. If they're wanting to stop this thing, they're going to have to call timeouts. However, there's still a lot of ticks on it, really, if you consider 2 minutes and 10 seconds in a football game. It's really a long time.
Well, it is high school football. No 2-minute warning here.
Here comes David McAdams off the field. That's going to be a flag because he didn't get off in time, but I don't see any dirty laundry. That's one of those that he really could have got called for 12 men on the field because he didn't actually make it off before they snapped it. The quarterback, Hale, threw the ball downfield over his receiver out of bounds, so it's going to be no play. It's going to put the Frisco Coons at the 36 with 2nd and 10. But McAdams, I was kind of surprised to not see the flag there.
I really was too. It's not like he was a small body to see coming up.
But he was hustling trying to get off the field. He was moving now. 2 receivers each side. Hale, the quarterback, wants to throw, drop. Washington in his face. Washington nails him as he threw the ball downfield, and it's going to be out of bounds. Had some yardage on that football and some air underneath it, but nowhere in the vicinity really of his receiver there, Brian Heller. I think the ball actually went out of bounds.
It really did, and Hale really showing off that cannon of an arm that he's got. Perfect spirals, just led his man too much and a little too wide.
I tell you, it's hard to put the ball on the spot when you've got a guy like Anthony Washington in your face and you know he's going to nail you, and he did. So 3rd and 10, 1:52 left to go in the game. Frisco trying to score on the hurry-up offense. Hale rolling out of the pocket, wants to throw, now gets a block. Breaks one tackle, breaks 2 tackles, but can't break the tackle of Anthony Washington. And, well, actually, that was Shelly Pitts who finally brought it down. So that's going to bring up 4th down and probably about 2 yards. And the clock is still rolling at 1:27. They send everybody out to catch the football. 2 receivers each side, 1 man in the back. Hale, the quarterback, wants to throw. Now he's going to pitch it out to Azua. He's breaking tackles all over the place, and Raymond Smith finally brings him down to the 45-yard line, but the clock's still rolling.
Johnny Hoover right there. He's having Johnny's been in a lot of tackles, and it looks like he's a little tired, a little sore, getting a little frustrated out there.
Clock stops momentarily to move the sticks. Somebody's going to call a timeout.
Yellow Jackets, 46-yard line.
Welcome back to Munson Stadium. Hale wants to pass down the field. He's got a man right through his arms. It's going to be Brian Ortega. Went up for the ball and simply went through his hands. Julie, this has got to be a very happy Bob Brown and a very happy Yellow Jacket staff down there.
Oh my gosh, Monte, you should be down here. The team unity is unreal. You asked me earlier about Rob Crawley and how they would feel about him breaking the record tonight, and it's just like what you would expect from a team that's so unified. It's completely supportive.
That's great.
It's very impressive.
Great to see those guys all rallying around Crawley and rallying really around themselves because they played a great ball game tonight. 1:07 left to go in the football game. It's a holding call that pushes Frisco way back to their own 45-yard line after they had some nice running room and some nice drives. But 1:07 left to go in this football game, and they're going backwards. Hale, the quarterback, drops back to pass, has all kinds of time to throw, now launches it way down the field, and has 1 man down there, and now 2 Jackets were in coverage. Casey Braxton and Robert Jackson were there to make the play, and they call a flag. We'll have to check and see what happened.
The coaches, Denison coaches, are pleading that it was an uncatchable ball, and Robert Jackson did bump him right there at the last, but the ball had already passed, but it does look like they may be waving this flag off.
Well, that's one of those that Mr. Hale got to show off his arm once again as he launched that ball probably from the 35 and tossed it all the way down to about the 10. So that's a heck of a throw.
It really is, and they did not wave that off. They went ahead and took that defensive pass interference penalty that will set up a first down.
So really an ugly fourth quarter for both teams, as a lot of yellow flags on the field so far in the last half of this fourth quarter, as I think both teams are a little anxious to get this one over. As Frisco comes to the line with 2 receivers each side, a man in the backfield, that's Azua, and Hale, the quarterback, drops back to pass, and it's 1st and 10. Hale, the quarterback, runs up the middle. Somebody nailed him. He broke the tackle and then gains about 7 yards. So it brings up about, that's going to bring up 2nd down and about 5, as we're going to try to have the player of the game. We're going to name that, and that's our digital solution player of the game. And we'll probably send Jason Smith down there. Here's another play, and this is a throw out to the left side. And they're actually going to say it's a fumble that Denison recovered. And I know Robert Jackson is pointing the other way, as it was Azua who ran to the left side, put the ball on the ground. Now they're trying to determine whether it's actually a fumble or not.
Well, it was a fumble, but there's a penalty flag down. And if this is against Denison, then it's going to still be Frisco ball. That's what they're trying to determine, and I think it's going to go against Frisco, so the Jackets will have possession.
Well, we've got 28 seconds to go in this football game. Denison's going to take over possession. All they've got to do is really take a knee, and this game will be in the books. So the referees pick up their yellow hankies. Kevin, let's talk about a player of the game. I'm going to go ahead and vote for the, well, I don't know. Rob Crawley had an outstanding football game. Anthony Hines would probably be my vote.
You probably got to go with Anthony Hines.
Yeah, he had the big game, over 100 yards, and we'll see what Anthony Hines has to say after the game as our Digital Solutions player of the game. Crawley under the quarterback, under the line, now takes the ball, takes a step back, and kills the clock. And the clock ticks at 17 and rolling. I think they're going to probably have to line up and do this one more time before the clock will run out. So we're down to 6-5. No, they're not going to. 4, 3, 2, 1. Denison, your Yellow Jackets are 3-0 in district, and you haven't lost a district game since 1999. Hats off to the Yellow Jackets who win tonight over Frisco Coons, 28-13. I tell you, Kevin, this is going to be an interesting showdown next week with Denton Ryan and Denison, with Ryan pretty much handling Sherman over at Bearcat Stadium tonight. We're going to check down with Jason Smith very momentarily. Anthony Hines is our Digital Solutions player of the game, so we're going to try to get a hold of Anthony.
Take a quick break.
And right now we're going to take a real quick break. We'll be back in a moment with our player of the game and Bob Brown. You're listening to Yellow Jacket Football on KMKT.